Let's go.
Okay, so is mostly harmless here. I don't know.
He's Bastion Brand, I think.
Yes, I'm here. I'm
Okay,
eating.
nice.
Sorry.
So I could probably explain the. Oh no, it wasn't you who asked this. It was someone asked about syncopations and rhythm in my tracks. Probably it was Nivram then. Yeah, it's Nivram. Okay, so it's here. Nice. So I'll make this track. I'll let you hear it, so we can discuss it afterward. Oh no, sorry, I need to listen to. Jeez. So you'll need to click in the link from the messages, and it will open a web page. From there, you'll get the Ableton audio in high quality. So it will be nicer for you.
Where did you post the link?
In the messages from Zoom.
Oh, I don't see it yet.
Have you checked you're not private
no,
messaging someone?
Yeah, it's private message. Okay.
Thanks a lot for that.
Thank you. There you go. So tell me if everyone gets some sound.
Yep.
Where's the link again for the quality audio?
Yeah, man, sounds good.
The link is in the Zoom discussion, written discussion.
Get drunk, of course.
Don't get sound.
Does anyone have sound?
Yeah.
It's weird.
What the hell?
Testing my stuff and it works.
Sorry, someone is speaking, but with the music, I don't hear it. Okay.
And it's gone.
No, I just played. I just closed it.
I mean, it's the
Here we
drunk
go.
train.
Okay, yeah.
glass of wine. I'm having 6.
It's the drunk train.
I'm not having a glass of wine. I'm having 6.
It's the drunk train.
Okay, so here's the full track. Do you have any parts that you want me to discuss, or should I get straight into it?
Well, the FM sides area. Yeah, what I noticed is that the FM lead or synth which comes in. I think it's your mono compatibility which makes it so spacious, because you can clearly hear the FM synth on the left and the right, but it's like you're not occupying any frequency in the middle at all.
Yeah.
So my question is, how the hell do you achieve something like that?
So basically, in that part, I have relayed my my main sound, which is this one, which is fully centered, like really hard. I just have slight sense effect on it, so we get some wetness, but basically it's really in the middle. And I have my FMs that I need to find back.
So
which are this one.
The main sound has like no stereo information at all.
Yeah, basically, if you hear,
Yeah, so you
like,
hear a slight reverb, which gives it some more space, but
yeah,
other
some
than that,
space.
it's just mono.
Yeah, exactly. It's really really centered hard. I have 3 voices, but it's detuned really slightly, so it's still in the middle.
Yeah.
So that's the main leading sound, and around it I have 2 main patches. Let me save with a new version because I'll probably fuck hard with that. Okay. So yeah, I have 2 patches of FM playing, and I basically make them pan, each one of them like crossing, so they doesn't interfere with another.
Yeah, so that's opposing panning automation, and they
So,
don't have
yeah.
any overlapping clips.
They never play. They never play at the same time in this part. Here they do, but I make sure like they really pan each side, each one of their proper side.
Yeah.
So they basically never interfere with another. So yeah, since they always play in the side, I can have my main side in the middle and they won't clash really hard. But before that, what I probably did was I was in mono. So I dial my mono button, and I make sure, like when they play, that you can hear both of them nicely with some EQing and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, not that they, when you are in mono, you don't you don't necessarily need them to be very separate, but not clashing with another. I don't know if you get what I mean with that, but the main goal is to have them playing in unison when you are in mono.
Yeah.
So you get rid of some frequencies in one and boost in the other, like you would do in every other like mixing. And if you do so, so basically those are the both EQs, and I make sure like when they play together, you can hear I don't have some frequency resonating with both of them.
Yeah.
So if it's good in mono, you can then split them wherever you want in the stereo field, and you will be sure that they won't clash, because if it works in mono, it necessarily work in stereo if you just pan them.
Yeah, but with these two grid synths, FM synths, you made them compatible by checking in mono, but as they are playing, are they also in mono but just panned left and right, or do they have some whiteness to them?
No, they are fully mono, just pushed to one side.
Yeah.
They are in the rest of the track, they just fully centered, like here. Oops. You can hear that they are working in mono, so
Yeah.
so yeah, basically you make sure they work in mono, then you split them, one to one side, the other to the other side, and if they blend together in the middle, they will be much more separate and still be audible in mono too. So that's some mono compatibility and some possible wideness, because you hear when you hear two different sounds that are similar in in each ear, you basically widen your overall sound. Like playing two different guitars, your ears will perceive them as one sound, but very wide.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So yeah, when we are in stereo, they are really wide. You cannot be wider than that. So when I introduce my main sound in the middle, I now have like three sounds: one left, one right, and one in the middle.
Yeah.
Can you A/B the EQ?
Sorry?
Can you A/B the EQing you done to the different FMs? Because I would like to hear how it sounds when they're clashing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Those were made there is a long time, so they're probably not the best, but anyway. It's kind of subtle, but you can hear they are thinner. So in the overall mix, it's easier to place them. I don't know if you heard any difference, but
Yeah. It became much wider.
Wider, and I could hear I don't know, I think it's my headphones, but they were like feeling like they were actually annoying my ears. It felt like something was like bouncing against my ears when you didn't have the EQ on.
Yeah, that's probably because on this one there is a lot of like low mids and stuff.
Yeah.
So when the sweep comes back in the low mids area, you get just disturbing frequencies.
Yeah.
There are some messages. Stills, what do you mean by you hear you leads? Okay, you answered that before I asked. And Nivram, what do you mean? It's full 50. Okay, I did not get that, but maybe you could precise this in the messages. Okay, so those were the FMs. So when I arrange my track, I usually like to have everything in the middle. So I make sure like everything is audible in the middle. And when I'm happy with that, I'll go in and just displace them and pan them right, left. And this way, I'm sure it will work in mono, because if you just displace a sound on one side, when you collapse to mono, it will get back his first place you gave him. So it won't be, yeah, it will never be worse than it was in stereo.
So basically, if you get a gig at a shitty place that has a mono setup,
Yeah, probably.
the track's gonna sound really shitty.
Yeah, it will sound shitty anyway, but it won't get worse. That's what I meant. So yeah, making sure too much sound are not playing at the same time is a huge part of my process. Like you can see here, I usually cut one sound when the other is playing, like I did here. It makes for better grid sounds, and also it's way easier to mix because you don't have clashing sounds in the first place, so you don't have to correct them and to make them fit together because they are not playing at the same time. What I usually do for stuff like that is I really go in and make only one patch. I work in this one. Like, let's say I will do a fresh start here. So I don't know what's the key of this track. Okay, so G. Oops. Let me put that in the middle. Okay. Okay, so let's say I'm having this this little rhythm. I have it on one patch, then I just displace it to several patches. Let's say every half bit.
So you're not using the rhythmizer or autoplay.
No, I really never use stuff like that.
You disappoint me.
And yeah, that's basically how I create like literally all my tracks. Just do one basic rhythm and then makes it play. Yeah, slice it up. And this way I just make sure no synths plays at the same time, because it's one MIDI that I just make it play. I just make play on different stuff. So to get in how I did my rhythm, basically the secret sauce is to use three 1/16ths apart. Like, how do I put that in words? Like having one note, then 2/16ths empty and one. So that's every 3/16ths. And this little rhythm here is really efficient to make the groove like head bobbing. Rhythm of the mat. And this 3/16ths is a really efficient tool. You could do a really straight 1/8, 1/16 like grid rhythm. If you just put 3/16 in it, it will immediately give some groove and some different rhythmic patterns. So that's basically what I did here. Like in the end here, I just displace it. So that's this little split 3/16ths apart, and it gives some how do I say that, like some bounce to the overall groove. And it's basically here the same. I just embellished it with 1/32 32nd. But yeah, it's basically the same. And this is like really the secret ingredient to having good and catchy melodies and FM grid sounds. And don't overuse it because it's just repetitive after some time. But yeah, when I'm stuck in a track, I really go for that. It's my go-to because it's simple and effective. I use it for kick rolls too. So let's say I have somewhere I want to do a kick roll. So I will cut this. Okay, I need to catch a sample kick. Where was I? Okay, here. And every 3 1/16ths. And you can hear I used it in the melody too. Yeah, it's basically, it's the same pattern I use everywhere. So
But that's really cool, actually, that you found that little formula of yours
yeah,
works so effective, because sometimes one just want to like increase the workflow and try stuff that will never fail, if that makes sense.
yeah.
So stuff like that is, and that's something that's not taught by everyone either. So I appreciated you sharing that.
Yeah.
Because I don't have any rhythmical sense at all. I mean, I haven't trained myself being a drummer or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And
But
it feels like it's a bit of like a rhythm theory
it's
somehow.
probably is, yeah. But well, it's the dotted 1/8 that you find in delays a lot. Like where do you find it? Yeah, the dotted eighth is really it's something you hear a lot in rhythmic theory. But yeah, it's just really efficient. So yeah, try to
Yeah,
use that.
but the fact that you use it on kicks and on your grid synths and in the melody just makes the track very cohesive.
Yeah,
That's really nice because, yeah, the kick is the kick roll or the kick rhythm is kind of telling you that there's going to be a change in something, but it fits with the rhythm which you had been playing before. So it's really nice.
Yeah, and like Bastian said that three like the delays and such like they fit on top of each other. But I mean, I think I've like unintentionally, without me knowing why I'm doing it, because I can recognize myself that I have gotten down that type of rhythm before.
Mhm.
It's just that I haven't really thought of why it works. But now you help me
Well,
answer the question why it works, because it's a dotted sequence.
yeah,
And we use dotted delays a lot in Psytrance. Well, at least I do.
yeah, that's probably it. You're right. But yeah, since I tend to use it everywhere, it makes the track cohesive. But try to find your own like signature rhythm that you like, probably. Maybe here I showcase the dotted eighth, but some other might be interesting to look into. Basically, every polyrhythm you could investigate in are really cool because you find recurring patterns that you could then reuse somewhere else. So let's say I use a 5/16 pattern. I don't know what it will give, but um, oh, it's harder to grasp because they are further apart. But if you then use it on another track, I really don't know where I'm going with this, but bear with me. Um,
Yeah, that works.
let's on top of that one, you use a dotted one. In there, you could find some interesting interplay that you just duplicate afterward. Okay, so let's say the first bar is cool. Then you could just take the content of this one, duplicate it here, and you have like a nice polyrhythmical one patch playing. And it's a good way to find new FM rhythms without using rhythmizers and random stuff, because you based it on theory of polyrhythms. I don't know if you followed here, but that's some nice way to find new rhythms that you like, and you just, if you remember that one, you can then use it on another track or everywhere you want, really. So that's
like save the MIDI clips into like my cool shapes and then just reuse them, alter them a little bit, maybe skip some notes.
Yeah, but you see in here there is like the dotted here, and here. So yeah, it comes down to what I was showing just a bit earlier, but yeah, that's a nice way to create new rhythms that you like and remember them afterwards. Yeah, Ram, you're a bit right. Just doing stuff yourself, like without using rhythmizers and stuff like that, are a good way to remember and understand why something is working, like when it's working and when it's working, why it's working. It's kind of important aspect of growing up in your sound, because you can then pick the one you choose, like you like to say that cherry pick the part you like, but you don't just cherry pick the parts you generated randomly. You cherry pick the part you created yourself and realize, okay, this time it's good, it sounds good, then I remember how I do that, and I'll, I'll keep it and use it another time.
It makes total sense, man. Absolutely agree.
Yeah.
But I'm still not gonna give up on the rhythmizer.
Yeah.
It still has its places. But yeah, I totally
Yeah,
get you.
totally. And I don't know with who I was talking about that, but I was talking about the not on random and the good aspects it has, but the negative aspect it has is like, firstly, you never get the same result unless you bounce to audio, and secondly, you don't really realize why something is working. And to me, it's kind of hard to let go all aspects of my track to the computer, because if you get rhythmizer plus not on random plus some random arpeggiator on a random scale, you basically did generative music, and that's not my point. It's something really cool to do, but it's not really the point of me doing music, because it won't really be something that represent what I want to tell, but something that I happens to did with the help of the computer. And it can be a good artistic choice, but to me, it's not the real aspect of it. If that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, man, totally makes sense. Yeah, of course.
As far as I know, FL Studio doesn't even have these randomizer functions. So,
That's because it retarded, but yeah, that's
no. It's because it's for people who aren't lazy.
yeah.
It's for people that only makes 4-track beats anyway, FL Studio. So
And it was linking to something I wanted to tell, but I forgot. Yes, so I have a little list here. So how I sequence my grids, that's what I showed here. Yeah, the relation between the arrangement and the mix. That was something I wanted to discuss too. I gave a little touch about it while showing how I split stuff. But you can basically split stuff in time. So like I showed here, by taking a MIDI and splitting it across several channels. But if you want some clarity in your overall mix, when you have several sounds playing at the same time, make sure they don't all play on the same octaves and on the same notes. Because if you do so, there will automatically be some frequency masking. Because if you play two different instruments at the same note, they will have same frequency content basically, and it will make then a lot of work of EQs and compression and stuff. But if you make them play on different octaves, the frequency of the harmonics and the overall sound will be better placed in the spectrum. And in the end, it will make the mix a lot clearer with less EQ stuff and less processing afterward. And that is a really important aspect of arranging a track. It's not just building tension and release. It's also thinking of what what scenes play at what time and what frequency part of the spectrum. That's something really important to keep in mind. So maybe I did something good here that I can show. So I think this one is an octave higher than this one. Let me pop a EQ here to show you the spectrum. Okay, no, it's just heavily high passed, but maybe this one. Okay, so maybe you could see this one. These two are how do I say that? Like they fit together nicely in the spectrum, because this one has a hole in the spectrum here, and this one fits precisely in this area, like the main body of the sound. Here you can see the sound that gets nicely combined together, and that gets in the end less work of EQ. This xylophone comes from Hamor, the Nivram. The track name didn't get updated. And it's basically a preset I use in every track, which is called Forest. I just tweak it a bit, and it makes a really, xylophone sound. Okay, here you can see, like, this is my high arc, and it plays almost the same arp as this one, but they play in different octaves, so yeah, they don't clash either. And basically, I try to have all my elements of their own space in the mix this way. A way to make them nicely fitting together is to make them play as chords and not all in the root key of the track. Like, I know in Forest and stuff like that, you really like to use only one note. Like, let's say the track is in G, everything will play in G. And this is really, if you have only one or two things at the same time, it can be easy to EQ them. But if you in the end use only these notes, you'll get in trouble. If you have, let's say, 3 of them playing at the same time, you will have more trouble to EQ that. So if you make them play, let's say, in C, try to make the other play in G, and this way they will play in perfect fifth, which is natural frequency to harmonious sounds. And even if they are not melodic synths, they will contain the same harmonic as any melodic synths, and they will enrich each other. They will sound fuller, and they won't clash as much as if you play one on low C and the other on high C. They will sound much more closer and intimate, but at the same time, you will get less trouble to make them full and richer. If anyone has questions about that, I'm open. Yeah, so this one too, is an octave lower. So it's just here to reinforce the power of the track.
Gal, can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
So when you say you let's say you have one melody going in C,
Mhm.
and then the complementary synth goes in G.
Mhm.
Do you, let's say it's a C minor, would you then go with a G minor, or would you go
No.
still in the C minor scale starting from G?
Yeah, I would
Okay.
keep the all scenes in the same key. But let's say you make them play in fifth interval. I would respect the fifth interval in the key, like going 4 degrees up from the note I'm playing at the same time. Okay, so let me show you. Basically, when I start a track and I want to find an idea, I always go from some chords. I make my chord progression working on its own. And then from there, I build everything else from that main chord progression. Maybe you want me to show that's what I showed last year, how I go all the process of creating a chord progression, a melody, making stuff fit together in harmonious way and stuff. I don't know if you guys are interested or not.
Yeah, sure. Might be a
Yeah,
good
but
moment as well for me to stop the recording and start a new one, because we've been
Okay.
going for a while.
Sounds
yeah,
good.
just if you were finished with the point before, of course.
I was talking about arrangement and mixing. It's probably finished. The main element was to really split your different elements during arrangement on different notes and different octaves, and make conscious choices of what should go where in order to everything to fit together. That was the main idea. Yeah, I was basically done with that.
Alright, I'm gonna pause the recording now then.
Yeah.